Hey everybody, Mike here from the Wall of Metal. Today we're going to feature going to do an artist spotlight feature, and I'm going to talk about one of my favorite new bands here to come out of the United States, playing some really good rock and roll, American rock and roll. They are a trio out of Memphis, Tennessee, and they are called the Dirty Streets. They are composed of Justin Toland on guitar and vocals, Thomas Stortz on bass, and Andrew Denham plays drums. Great bunch of young guys. I've had the pleasure of meeting them on their latest tour. They're out on tour right now with of all groups, doom metal legends Pentagram. And while I initially thought that was kind of an odd selection, if you think about it, the things that make doom so appealing to fans are it's dirty, greasy, rhythmic, riff-driven anthems, and that's basically what the Dirty Streets do. They deliver a hard driving, rhythmic, soulful, guitar riff driven form of rock and roll, and I guarantee you're going to like it. You can hear in their influences everything from Blue Cheer to maybe some typical, the Power Trio, Blue Cheer, Cream, James Gang. You're a lot of James Gang and Free, some Bad Company kind of 70s vibe. And Jimi Hendrix, Hendrix and James Gang were a couple of big influences on the guitarist and vocalist Justin that we had the pleasure of discussing at their last show in Cincinnati. So anyway, I found these guys a couple years ago when they were on tour with Horizont. I didn't know anything about them or who they were, but when I was researching the bands for that concert, I came across them on what they had online and listened to them, and immediately fell in love with them. And they're just a fantastic band. You can find them on Bandcamp, and they have a Facebook page, and you can also go to, I think it's a former label. I don't think their latest album came out on this label, but you can go to Alive Records, Alive/Natural Sound, and you can find links to buy their merchandise. But definitely check out the Dirty Streets. So briefly in discography, in 2009 they came out with their debut, Portraits of Man, and that was followed up in 2011 by Movements. Unfortunately, I don't have either of those two on record or CD. I'm going to try to pursue getting those if they're available. But you can find them digitally. I don't advocate using YouTube because it doesn't really help the band pay for what they do. But if you want to listen to it and get a feel for what they're doing, those things are out there online and you can check them out. So we're going to start with the first album that I have from them, and that was, I believe it was their debut on Alive. But the album is called, I'm going to get it out for you, Blades of Grass. And if you can hear in the background, this is what we're listening to. You just heard Stay Thirsty, which is a great tune, one of the first tunes I heard from the band. Basically, from this album on, the next three albums I'm going to talk about are the ones that I own and my favorite ones from the band. But the great thing about this band is that you can put on their record and every track grabs you from start to finish. There's no filler, it's all killer, and it's fantastic listen. And if once you get done, you want to press repeat on CD, or you want to go turn the record back over and listen to it again, everything is fantastic. I was just thinking that this song here is called Talk, and there's a part kind of coming up here where the rhythm section and everything, guitar riffs kind of kick in, the chorus, and it kind of reminds me of something that you might have heard from a Kiss album, a la Love Gun. This part right here is just dirty guitar. I love it. But this is their third album, Blades of Grass. It was followed up in 2017, I believe, by this one, which is called White Horse. And the first track, or the opening track on this album, is a track called Save Me. And that was the first song that I had heard from the band. And from the moment I heard that, I was hooked. I absolutely love that song. It's my favorite song that the band does. And this album could be, I mean, it could be a greatest hits album for someone who's been around for decades. I mean, every song on this album is that good. Looking for My Peace, Accents, Think Twice, When I See My Light, Good Kind of Woman, The Voices, Good Pills is kind of like if you have a single from the album, Good Pills has been featured a couple of different times on different kind of television programs. Right now you can hear it on Netflix series Sex Education. It was featured in the first episode of that. Great song, great album, White Horse. And that takes us to their latest release, which was released in 2018. This is called Distractions. And I want to take this out and show it to you because the vinyl is really cool. The other vinyls I have are just kind of standard black vinyl, but this is, I don't know how well you're going to be able to see it in the light, but this is kind of a yellow gold marbled kind of vinyl, and it looks really cool. And this was all three of these are things that I picked up from seeing the band at their concert in Cincinnati, which was the opening night of this tour, Pentagram. And I don't know if you can kind of see it close enough, but they were kind enough to autograph this album for me. Great songs on here. Opening track, Loving Man. The Sound, there's a video out on YouTube for The Sound. There's a video for Dream. Riding High is a great track. Can't Go Back is a great song. It's got great vocals by Justin. Distractions, another great great track. This album's just a fantastic album too. Neat story about, just to tell you what kind of guys that they are. Aside from musicians, they're really they're really cognizant about being accessible to their fans, and they care about their fans. And when we went to see, my girlfriend and I went to go see them play with Horizont, and it was her first experience with the band. She had never heard of them until I, kind of looped her into it too, and she, just like me, fell in love with them from the beginning. And for my birthday last year, she emailed the band on their Facebook page, and Justin, the singer and guitarist, was kind enough to correspond with her, and she got a CD that they all autographed and mailed to her, and then she presented that to me as a gift, which was a fantastic gift. I'm not going to show it because I don't have it out, but that just goes to show you what kind of guys they are. I mean, not just great musicians, they're a fantastic group of young guys, very personable. They were very happy to sit down with her and I at Cincinnati, and that's an important thing to me today with some of these groups, and it's great that they're accessible. But just a fantastic band. I can't recommend them enough. If you like good, soulful, guitar-driven American rock and roll, this riff you're hearing, it's just kind of like Guess Who, only better than the Guess Who, in my opinion. You can't go wrong with the Dirty Streets. I guarantee if you like rock and roll, you're going to love the Dirty Streets. So don't take my word for it. Check them out. Find them on Bandcamp, Facebook. Again, they're from Memphis, Tennessee. They're called the Dirty Streets, and I highly recommend them. If you like them, order their albums, buy their records, support this band, and if you have an opportunity to see them come through your town, by all means go and check them out, because they tear up the stage like you wouldn't believe. So yeah, check them out. The Dirty Streets, Memphis, Tennessee. You will not be disappointed. All right, until I see you next time. I know they're not a metal band, but how I end all my videos, when you're at the show, let them know you're metal. Bang your head and throw the goat. And I'll talk to you later.